that's all I had to say for this point. At this point in time, I'm going to turn it over to Andrew to talk for a few minutes. Thanks.
Okay, so just a couple things. I'm not going to talk for too long. We got sort of reports that a bunch of people didn't receive the email from me that I sent, because our email list is up at 150 people now and growing. There's people emailing to get added. And so I send out a lot of emails from my Gmail account, so some of them might be going to people's spam box. So what we've done, or I did this last week, and we'll get it up and running. We just signed up for a free MailChimp account, which is just a newsletter. You can subscribe, unsubscribe. I posted the sort of link on the Haliburton Homesteaders forum, so you can just sign up through that link, and that way I'm not, no one's asked to be removed, but I'm not, have to individually add people to the list, right? So we only send out maybe an email maybe once a month, or maybe twice a month. So it's not going to be too much. So I just encourage people, the next newsletter, anyone who had signed up with their email list, I've already added. But then if you have new people who want to come or whatever, know what's happening, you can just refer them to the Haliburton Homesteaders website, and they can just sign up on the link there. So it just relieves some of the pressure on me to manage the hundreds of emails that I get. Second thing, so we have this really good supplier for the food, the clamp top, food grade bins and that sort of thing. We had a pretty successful tour at my place. I think it was last weekend. I think we had 20 people sort of touring the farm, and then we did a follow-up sort of that spicy briefing we did on the Sunday. I think there was like 12 or 13 people at that. But I've got a bunch of emails, be like, oh, those firewood cages, I would like to get some of those because they're super handy, and you can just move your firewood around with a forks. And so I just talked to the same guy who brought us in the bins. So those, if you want firewood cages for your property, he can bring in 25 of them per load, and they're $50 for the firewood cages. But if you want the non-food grade totes, so those are like the big plastic inserts that go in those firewood cages, it's the same price. It's $50. So if you have a use for those on your property, he can bring you just a firewood cage, or he can bring you the firewood cage with the plastic non-food grade tote in the cage. Now, those things are really good because they can store old oil or anything like that, any sort of petroleum oil or lubricants or whatever that you need to dispose of. They're actually pretty good for that sort of thing. So if anyone does want firewood cages, if we can get 25 ordered, and then we can just drop them out my property and people can come and get them. They're $50 each, and if we get 25, then you just divide the delivery fee, which I think is like $100 or $150, and you just add that onto every cage, so they're still pretty cheap. Now, that's just that guy. If you do know someone in the area who's cheaper, who has them, just let us know. We don't have to go through that person. That's just our point of contact who we used in the past. So you can either talk to me after if you're interested in that, or you can just send me an email and I can get you on there. Once we get 25, then we can place the order for these firewood cages. Other things, so we ran our final PAL course before the summer. I think we're going to run another one in October. So I think we had 9 or 10 people this past weekend. It was good. And then for what we recommend for people is once you've done your PAL, which is your personal acquisition license for it's the legal course that you have to do to get your firearms, is on the 4th of June from 12 Eastern to 4 p.m. We're doing our firearms fundamental course, which is done by a couple special forces buddies of mine. It's $50, and they will give you 4 hours of all the stuff that you need in terms of making purchases for firearms, what to do, what types to buy, calibers for different types of hunting and that sort of thing. And you will save at least $50 in potential mistakes that you'll make by purchasing the wrong firearm. So if you are interested in that firearms fundamental course, it's distance, it's on Zoom, 4 hours, 4th of June, and those guys will get you all teed up and help you with your purchases if you need. Now, if you already know about firearms, it's not for you. It's mostly for people who've just finished their license and they need help with making decisions on what firearms they're going to buy. So you can email me for that, or you can just talk to me after. I'll get your name on the list. There's 20 spots. If you're a couple and you want to do the course, it's not $50 per person. It's just $50 for the Zoom link, right? Don't get like 50 people in a room and that, but if it's like a family or a couple or whatever, it's no problem getting just, for a group of people for one of the Zoom links. So firearms fundamental. Okay, so we had a little bit of a hiccup with the first set of forums. The new ones are up, so if you go to haliburtonhomesteaders.com, I've made a couple posts. I do have like about 15 or 20 other things I got to post in there when I can get around to it, but this is where we can start to engage with one another and sort of tell you, buy and sell, or offer each other services and that sort of thing. So I encourage you just to go up there, and we'll try and get those forums active for all the groups, and then we can find ways how we can help each other. Another thing, so the stock tank's actually pretty good. Ours, we have a 6 or 9 foot diameter one that we have, and ours is used for a hot tub, and it's pretty good. You can do water to water heat exchange and that sort of thing. So highly recommend those. And I guess one other thing, this might be a little bit hard to coordinate, but our organization, V4F, has some, I don't want to say wealthy, but some people are very successful who support our organization, and they know we're doing a lot of building up on our property. And basically, if we get a big enough order, we can order a ton of building materials from them. And basically, you go from paying $41 for a 4x8 sheet of plywood to $15, right? And so if we get enough people who are interested in certain materials, we can leverage this guy. Like I said, big supportive organization. They build high rises down in Cambridge, Hamilton area, and they'll fill up a truck and deliver it to us, and then we're getting plywood for $15 instead of 41. Okay, so that's another thing. I'll email those details out to everyone, and then when we're building our projects or our buildings, chicken coops and that sort of thing, we can use that wood for they're almost a third of the price, which will save us a lot of money. So that. And the poultry feed program. So that's pretty much it for me. There is one thing I just want to mention. There's a young lady here who is doing, do you want to come up and just sort of explain what you're doing? And then we'll include it in the next email that I go. I think she works for the government, but no, okay.
No, I swear I do not work for the government. I'm from the University of Saskatchewan. I'm from a rural, I was born and raised in a rural community, and I've been increasingly interested in doing research on rural communities. So I've been traveling across the country, stopping in rural communities. The project is trying to understand what rural communities, what challenges they're facing, and how they're addressing those challenges together. And so I was fascinated when I heard about this group and identifying food security and sustainability and self-sufficiency as a challenge, and how you're actually coming together to solve it. So the other project that was initially mentioned, I do research at a university. It's independent of the government, but I'm really interested in rural communities, mainly because I'm from one myself, and have always been interested in how they build community and sustain it. So I'm going to be in Minden for 2 weeks, and so you might see me walking around. I might bother you and talk to you about some of the things you care about. People have been really generous with their time so far, and I just want to thank you also for allowing me to come and just listen and learn. I'm also really interested in learning about how I might actually do some homesteading myself when I go back to Saskatchewan. And if you know any groups there that are like this, I'd love to join one there too. So thanks.
So whenever these sorts of opportunities come up, I encourage people to actually get involved and take the time and let your voice be heard, because if you you have problems, and I complain about a lot of things, but if we don't say anything about it, then the people don't know what sort of problems are affecting us. So I'll get your details and set up some time, and and I encourage you to do the same, and then just sort of let your voice be heard for, what's happening to our rural communities and what we're concerned about, etc. So I'll get that out in the email. I will get the email. I won't wait weeks for the email. I will try to get it out tomorrow or the next day. And then we'll put your contact information, and then you can spend some time with some of the people and talk about that sort of thing. So that's pretty much it for me. Other than, we're not running any PAL courses until the fall time, so October, because it's pretty busy at our farm up there for the weekends. Oh, actually, one other thing. I don't have the clip. I'll include the clip in the email. Is, we're putting up about 1,500 feet of fencing at our farm. And then we've talked to a lot of people who are putting up a lot of, fencing and cedar posts and that sort of thing. One of these videos that was sent to us, it's something called, instead of using fence staples, use something called a Davos clip. And basically, it's a special clip that they make in Australia that is very unique. And when we had the guys working up doing the farm fencing at our place this weekend, with the fencing staples, they thought they were only going to get a couple 100 feet done, right? Because it takes a long time to put the staples in and then hammer those in, and then eventually they become loose, and you got to maintain them, and it becomes a bit of a pain in the butt. When these guys who've been in the fencing industry for 25 years, when they use these clips, they're like, this is a game changer, and we need to order like tons of these, because they put up, instead of a couple 100 feet of fencing, they put up over 1,000 feet, because these clips were amazing. Because there's just a drill, and you put in the special bolt and you drill it in, and it allows the fence to move in between. It's incredible. So I'll send you the video there. That's another thing. If we do get enough people who are interested in it, we can put a big purchase for these clips in, because you do have to pay duties, and they do come from Australia. But this guy literally said this is the best invention he's ever seen in farm fencing, and he's been in there for 20 years, and it comes from Australia. He never knew about it. So if anyone's interested in putting up a lot of fencing, and we want to get these Davos clips and put in a big order for them, I'll put that in the email, and that's something we can do. And like I said, it's going to save you a ton of time when you're installing the fencing. So sorry, I'm back. I just realized a couple things I forgot to talk about. I won't take up too much more time, but we have a greenhouse supplier who contacted us. They have a discount code through the organization. They know what we're doing. He's going to come up to my place on Sunday, and they do greenhouses. They ship all across Ontario. They're actually very well priced. So we're going to get a greenhouse at our place that's 18 feet across by 30 feet. And they'll come up, they'll do everything. There's all sorts of options you can have. So I'll include that in the email. So if anyone's in the market for looking for a greenhouse, these people are great. They're down in, I think, Cambridge area, and they'll customize everything and they'll mail it up to you. And again, we have a discount code. So if you order out with the discount code, you get whatever percentage off. That was one thing. The other thing is we have one of our guys who has Pyrenees puppies. They're not like full Pyrenees, they're like a little mix of German Shepherd. So if you are looking for a solid homesteading dog, he's got I think 3 left. We purchased one, we get it on Friday. So if you are looking for a dog or in the market for that, I think they're like $400 or $500 for one of these Pyrenees, which are really strong dogs. And I know John has a lot of experience with them, so they're great for homesteading. Also, I learned how to do pressure cooking a week or 10 days ago with Lorinda. And then, these pressure cookers are very expensive. They're about $850. They have lifetime warranties. But I was talking to Allison and Ty, I think they're here somewhere, and instead of them going and buying another pressure cooker for $850, I said, well, you can just borrow ours for like a week and do it. So if you are interested in doing the pressure cooking or anything, don't go out and buy a pressure cooker. We might have one that we might be able to share around here, so we're not wasting money and we're each buying a pressure cooker, because it's not like something you use every day. So I'm going to put that in the email. And then 2 more things, sorry. So Wild Meadow Farms, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's what it is. They see what we're doing here with pushing, supporting locally and small farmers and that sort of thing. They again gave us a discount code. We've ordered a bunch of fruit for them. John and Rhonda purchase for them regularly. And it's family farm and it's really good meat, and we have that. So if you are looking, and they deliver again, I think anywhere in Ontario, we got a discount code. I think it's like 5 or 10% off, and you can order from them directly. So I'll include that. And lastly is Sean and Lauren, who regularly come, they're not here. They swear by this mushroom soil, or correct, is that how you say it? Yeah, mushroom. So, and basically it's a byproduct, or it's like a waste product that they get rid of. And I think there was like 30 yards for about $1,000, but these trucks can take 120 yards of this mushroom soil. It's like potting soil. All of your vegetables and everything, greenhouses, you name it, it all can be used from this soil. And it doesn't matter the amount you're paying the trucking fee, which is the bulk of what you're paying. So if anyone's interested in getting like a massive amount of this like potting soil, this mushroom byproduct, that's another thing we can coordinate to try and have that get up and delivered, and then we're sharing the cost of the trucking fee, and that's what we can use for our greenhouses and that sort of thing. So anyways, I'll include that in the email sent out tomorrow. I just wanted to throw that out there for people to think about, just in case you are going to buy a greenhouse or looking for a dog or pressure cooking.
Thanks, Andrew.